Hello, everybody, and welcome to my journal. This is Lily Kolosova, and this is my journal. And today I'm going to be talking about the process of quickening, everyone. So, hi, everybody, and welcome. Whoever's joining me, thank you for joining me. So, Zeus wanted to say hi today to everybody. So, say hi, Zeus. Say hi. You don't want to say hi. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. All right. I think he is ready to relax here in my lap. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay. So, welcome. Today is November 4th. So this is my journal, and the subject's going to be about the quickening process. And this relates to, of course, the shamanic journey that we're on. And I want to talk today about the 13th tribe. And so this is something that a lot of people kind of have, it's a taboo in a way for a lot of people, but I think for most of you that are going to be here, this is not as big of a news. And so we're just going to talk about the prophecies, the legends, the myths from around the world about what the 13th tribe really is and what it has to do with the process of quickening or the end times as it is talked about in Bible as a prophecy, end time prophecy. So this is all of that has to come into play. So this is your revelation period, you can say, because this is all kind of comes together. All the prophecies from around the world, they're all, if you really look at them from the perspective of a shaman, and how you view the world and how you create your own rituals and how you create your own symbols and all of that stuff. So then you'll understand all those myths and all the mythologies and all of the stories that were told in the past, how they connect on that spiritual level, and how then we understand this prophecy of the 13th tribe. Okay. And what it has to do with the victory that, this spiritual war and all of that, because that's what it's all about, right? We're in a revelations time. We're in the spiritual war right now. All right. So thank you, everybody. Oh, wow. Thanks. Thanks for being here, Miles. GWH. Thank you. Cindy. Hi. Rebel. Emmy. Christina. Seta Galaxy. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so glad you can join me. Okay, so I'm going to start. So today, as you guys can see, I'm going to share another one of my little things. It's my Russian teapot that I have. It's a miniature teapot. It was made in Russia because there is, I don't know where. Oh, right here. Do you guys see right there? Yeah, that's, and in here on the back, it even has the year. Oh, shit, upside down. 1976. Okay, it was made, and then it's stamped in here that it was made in Russia. So anyway, but this is a little thing. It's the tea thing. There's the whole, I don't know. There's the whole technology to this whole thing, how the tea are made. So I'm drinking tea today. It's urban made tea with some cardamom, ground cardamom in it. So that's very good with tea. And so that works really well for cleansing your body of all the toxins. So, and that's little Hi, Pavel. Good to have you here. So this is, Urban Mate with cardamom tea. So, yeah, this is a tradition, and so the tradition is, and this is exactly what I'm doing because this is the tradition, and this is how I've talked about it in the past, but this is how I've picked up on all this wisdom from all the babushkas. I grew up around a lot of older people when I was very little, so I had all this women in their wisdom age around me, and so I consider myself one of the most luckiest females in the world because of that, because the wisdom that they've shared in, around the tea, drinking tea, this is the whole thing. It's like if you go drink tea, this is a whole process that takes hours and sometimes days. It starts usually with this. There's other things that come along, but but anyway, so this is my little, something that I carry with me everywhere because it just kind of, a little piece of something to remind me of the land where my soul came from. And so that's where I actually learned all this about teas and what's good for you, what's not, because the women that are older would talk about stuff like this. And to me, I wanted to know everything about everything. I was the most nosiest child, my mother said, that she ever came across. I wanted to know everything. Cardamom, I always mixed it up and call it conundrum. Yeah, it's cardamom. It's some kind. It's a seed. Ooh, um, I don't know. I don't have it with me. I think it's carbon. Okay, I might remember by the end of the show. Okay. No, I mean, not just waiting for tea, Miles. You just, you drink tea all day and all evening. And this is where you pick up on all the ancient wisdom and all of the stories and all of the myth and how they work and how you're supposed to take care of yourself in your body and all of that. So this is basically, this is my journal, you guys. So I'm kind of sharing how I gain all this stuff and why I talk about this and why I talk about shamanism, because I was lucky enough to be around shamans. And the reason for that also is because when I was little, my dad, when I was born, he was 54 years old. And by that time, he was he had tremendous headaches, like this migraines that would just take him over and all of that. And it's the history of that. Someday I'll share why, but it's because of all that he went through in Gulag, and all of that training that the KGB puts you through. It's basically destroys your mind. And so there's so much damage through that when I was very young, talking about 6, 7, maybe. So he would have all this. He would just get upset and all these things. He was just broken down because that's what they do. They just break you and break you and break you. And it was just. And so what he did is he turned to the shamans, to the women in the area, to what to do. And so I've been there through the whole process. And to me, because of what I witnessed, what happened to him, to me, that was it for me. And I was still very young. And that's why I consider myself lucky. But at the same time, you guys, it's been so long. And only now, we're at the point where I see why all this had to be the way it had to be, because it wasn't easy to be aware of all these things, because this is what happened. Eventually, this is what I will tell you. It was really, I mean, he wasn't gonna survive those things, because it was just. And so what happened is, ultimately, this is what happened, that he went to work with all this women that knew some of the shamanic work and all of that stuff. And eventually what happened, it was the bees that actually did all the work. And it's a beautiful story, so I might as well tell you a little short version of it. But eventually what happened is so I'll just tell about the bee story. But eventually what they told him, and what shamans told him, is that when you're ready for healing, nature will show up. And for you, it's going to be bees, and your healing will start. And so my dad was coming back from work one time, and right on the side of the road, right before our house, on the tree, there was a family of bees. The queen was there, and so everybody surrounded. He just went out, cut that, put them in the box. The next day, he built them the house and all of that stuff, and that's how we started having bees. And I was around 8 maybe on that time. So that's where bees come into our lives. And so he started taking care of that family that showed up. And he just bonded with bees like he never wear those protective things or anything. That would just be all over him and everything. And we already by that time had like 3 families, if not 4. So some time had passed. And all of a sudden, the bees attack him enormously. I mean, they bit him everywhere, and especially around his head. He passes out, I think, for 3 days. I'm not sure. But he was so swollen, everybody thought he was going to die. There was no way he was going to survive that. And when they attacked him, and I watched all of it, I was there present. I was around always doing things, just around, always listening. So anyway, but he gets up. He wakes up from like I don't know, it was some kind of, he told me a lot about what went on and what was going on and everything. And actually, some of what he told me that happened during that time only made sense when he died, or right before he died. So anyway, but when he got up from that after 3 days, he never had another headache or anything. And his compassion had fully returned to him, because that's what they do when they program you. Because he was put through MK Ultra like most of in USSR. That's what they do in the army. They basically break you down. You're 18 years old and they break you down. He was like 16 when they grabbed him. So imagine that, because they do it through trauma and all of that stuff. So they get rid of compassion, and they see them with a lot of anger and all of that stuff, and all the friction and all the things, But it was a miracle that it was a miracle, such a huge miracle, that for me at 7, 8 years old, it's a no-brainer who true God really is and how God works and how reality operates, because I was still in that innocent stage of seeing through all of this, who truly, what this reality is all about. And so to see that miracle, none of the fake religious stuff could ever affect me because I could always see through it. And so basically he got healed. There's other things he did in prior to that, but this is how his shamanic journey, going through all of that, all of those years, he was, by that time this happened, he was probably in his 60s. And so by the time this happened, he had suffered all of his life. All of his life he'd suffer with that. And only then, this is how through the shamanic and nature, when he was ready to heal. And then he took care of those bees for a long time until he bonded with them so well. And then that's how they only could fix him. And then he lived to be 102 without a headache ever in his life, ever again. And not ever need to take any medications or anything. 102. That's what nature can do. And I am a living witness of God in action. And this experiences like that, sometimes an indication that you yourself is a shaman. And this is how I knew, because I'm experiencing all this stuff. He was called in when people were dying to help people to pass. Well, I would tag along at like 7 and 8 years old, just hiding behind, like, so he doesn't see me. And then I would go and sneak in to see what they're doing. I was never afraid of that. So it's like, when you're a shaman, because you have those experiences from childhood. And some people, things happen. And my dad, it didn't happen to him until he was in his 60s. And then, only then, when he himself got healed, when the bees healed him and returned all his compassion, and he became this totally like new human being, renewed. They renewed his spirit. They renewed him. And I watched it all. And so then, and only then, in his older age, then he was able to do the shamanic work himself, until he went through that himself. So for some people, it could happen that way. But for me, like I've said, and I've shared before, you guys, that I knew all this, and I've had all this. What I have is a memory of all the timelines. So in the timeless, I can go into the Akashic record that is a quantum field. Okay. And so for me, it's like I call them dreams sometimes, but those dreams were just future timelines that I've marked in my younger age. Certain markers I had to remember, because you still forget. Okay, so, all right, then you're a shaman. Sita Galaxy. Okay, well, this is kind of, and each one, and this is why I kind of on Facebook in the group, in Wild Wisdom Warriors group, I posted that about the Siberian shamans and how, how people kind of come to it. They tell a little stories, how it's, because it's so unique to each tribe around the world. And so this is one of the things that it's really unique to each tribe. But ultimately at the core, it's all really is the same. It's all living energy. And then you are the one, because how does it work? How do you program? Because your mind is that quantum computer. So when you reach for that possibility in the quantum space, right? This is through the quickening. This is what I'm talking about, shamans. When you go right now and you are reaching from you go into the quantum field, right? And you're reaching for a timeline, right? To manifest timeline for whatever community you serving, you know, be it, like I said, be it, you know, just doggies over here, or you know, just your family or whatever it is, you want to pull that possibility, right, into manifestation. So you want to bring that energy in, and you want to vibrate that energy within yourself, right? Because when you look at shamans, when they go to healing, and especially in that Siberian shamans, this is what they do. And why they come into that trance, because when they come and that individual comes in, and like I explained in last journal, you guys, I've explained that I'm like a mirror, and then I can read their energy, and I can differentiate their energy from my energy. And so I can step in and out, no problems. And this is what shamans can do, right? So you can see, but you don't have to take it on anybody's energy. And this is why they go in, and like if you watch the documentary, and they take on the vibration or whatever it is, they're trying to figure out what it is, so then they can consciously, through their own field, feel it, understand it, and comprehend it, so then they can voice this for the human being. Then, so it's uninvasive. It's basically, here it is, everything open, there's no secrets. The shaman then says, and if it's a sickness or something, then maybe there is all kinds of things, right? So they talk about like a spirits, but it's not that discarnate spirits. What the shaman is capable of doing is filter the energy. And this is what transmutation is all about, is filtering the energy. And then if you know you are that all possibilities, then you can't run, right, from all possibilities. What you do is your power then within is then you choose how you perceive external, or how you manifest external for yourself. I don't know. I hope it makes sense, you guys. But through the quickening, this is the shamanic work that's got to be done for people. And like, even if you're a shaman that work with personal, like you're a personal wellness coach, right? And you work with people on, you know, how to or you know, how to heal their own reality, and how to cut all the narcissists out, and how to, you know, how to take charge of your reality. If you're helping people to do that, then it's, you know, shaman cannot be afraid of their clients, right? Or their community is people's needs or darkness. They can never be afraid of it. So this is what I've talked about, what happens with some of this tribal teachings, and like I've talked about it, about holographic kinetics last time, you guys. And I said how that tribal teaching got twisted through that, because of fear base, because they flipped the strength of a shaman into fear. And that's how people perceived it. And so what is the 13th tribe? It's actually 13th tribe. It's the female power. It's the feminine. It's the divine feminine. But every individual, even a man, have the divine feminine energy. And this is what it is. When the divine feminine flows in harmony, this is the power. And the reason why I think the women, thank you, Pavel. Thank you. Fearless shamans. Yes, you gotta be fearless. You cannot be afraid of anything because you cannot conquer it, because you're afraid to face it. What kind of warrior are you? Because this is a warrior tribe, but it's not in a way to where we think is the physical warrior or a fighter. There's a huge difference between a warrior and a fighter. And a lot of people that are fighters calling themselves warriors. But the true warriors, they know what is truly at stake. And so how can you call yourself a warrior, especially a spiritual warrior, if you are afraid of something? As soon as you have that fear, you're done. You done in that spiritual world. Like I said, when I went to Ashaya Nadine's workshop, I knew I was in hell, so I couldn't go to sleep. So I can't. So I don't slip into some kind of astral trick, because I would be eaten alive there. My energy would be devoured there, because it's like, it's just it's what's going on, and so you gotta be so sure and so confident of your own strength to face anything. And if you want to be shaman, then but when you say, okay, I'm not a shaman, I'm just a regular person. But the regular person got to be a shaman for themselves. You got to be able to look at your own darkest of the darkest, because then you will be able to look from more of a neutral perspective on how to then change it, and how to achieve something better, and take it beyond just recognizing the problem, what's going on, how you can, or like I talked in the past, how you can contribute. And you have the eyes then to see, once you develop your own gift, like I said in the past, once you develop your own gift, then that gift is your contribution. That's part of that 13th tribe. Because the gifts, right? The gifts that will allow you to do your work here in this reality as a shaman, this is what you have to find on your own, because they're very unique to each shaman, right? And so integration, Emmy, which you're saying is beautiful. Yes. Conquering the self, that's true. It is about conquering yourself, but in which way? Not into suppressing something and letting something else be out of balance. Conquering yourself, meaning finding the harmony within all of your creations. It's enclosed inside job, where you are completely in full awareness, or 360-degree view and clarity. And this is what you get: clarity. And that, whatever it is, it's here, because you're part of collective. Once you get the clarity, individual clarity, I don't know how it happens, but all of a sudden that big picture opens up for the collective humanity. And it's evolution or alchemical process or evolution, whatever you guys want to call it, it doesn't matter really. But it's the growth that we got to go through. It's the letting the old go, and this is what's quickening all about, and moving forward, and finding quantum solutions, as I said, using your quantum abilities that is given to you by universe. You have your Holy Trinity in your mind. Universe give you that. This is your bio quantum computer. It is works on the universe on a universal speed. There's nothing faster than it, than that. So just trust in that you are it, and that's the thing. It's this is the protection that you need, is that trust in yourself, in your own spirit, and that's what builds the protection. Because then there is no, you're not, because like I said, this is a vampiric energy. No matter how, in a lot of times, by hijacking human subconscious mind, what happens is that the programming works in which way? So then the human being opens their own field for whatever, possession, parasites, um, other energies, spirits, whatever you want to call it, or however you want to perceive those energies or that stuff. It doesn't matter. But what they do is, but ultimately it's you through subconscious programming that just you don't even know you're opening yourself up for all this stuff. But what I'm saying is, once you trust the superconscious, then you can't. And this is why when I say, when you do your rituals, you do it through your superconscious. Okay. So how do you do it? You gotta stand in it like that shaman. And this is why I say, feel it. If you don't feel that being, already happened. If you don't feel it in that state, then it won't manifest unless you already feel it, that it's already happened, and unless it penetrates everything through to your conscious mind. And that's how you work with superconscious. So it penetrates through the subconscious. It's like bypasses it. By you already consciously bringing that into your aura vibration. It's within your aura. You got to bring it within your aura. You got to ground that energy into your aura. So this is what I'm saying. When you do your ritual and you in that space, right? So you have to feel it, meaning you got to bring it into your aura, and you got to be on all three worlds. You got to be there in that, and this is how you can manifest it. Otherwise it's disconnected. And then if you think that you did something, you did the ritual, and then your subconscious mind starts poking and you doubt yourself. As soon as you have doubt, you've just turn your subconscious mind working against your superconscious. So you're working against yourself in a way. And this is basically what that conquering of self, Miles, is all about, is to understand how the subconscious, sometimes without us knowing, works against our superconscious mind. And that's the way. So okay, Yani, is the 13th tribe from all over the world, or a specific race? It's from all over the world, all tribes from all over the world, except that ones that I talked about, the technological strand, they will not be advancing. All those that have original DNA still, even though it's dormant, those people have the ability and capability to activate their DNA, basically, or the blood codes, as I talked in the past about. Hey, tinfoil hatter. I'm doing great. Thank you. Visions and how to trust them. Pubsy, you ask about visions and how to trust them. Well, you gotta also have something within in nature to give you some things, and some people create that sacred space in nature where they need answers, then they can go there. And this is again in your dreams, okay? And visions, you said visions, right? Are you talking about in the dream time? Or are you talking about visions during the meditation or just? Okay. All right. So if it's a visions and all of that, it's basically because this is what happens when you start operating only and bypassing your subconscious and you connect to your superconscious. What happens is then superconscious then has to work through your subconscious. And this is why you have to allow your conscious mind to be open. And so, a lot of times, those visions are your subconscious working your superconscious thing or whatever you initiated through your superconscious. So, if you either ask a question and you need, and you're gonna have to, and you're gonna get that answer, sometimes it's gonna come through a vision. So if you're active in with your super conscious brain waves, if you're a lot active in there, then what's going to happen? Your subconscious is going to have to rearrange to that activity. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's going to rearrange. So yes, you're going to have a lot of restructuring happening in your subconscious mind. And so this is where the visions come from. I hope that helps to understand what those are all about. And what it is just those are just like subconscious mind works. Those are symbols. So through symbols and all of the stuff, you can see things. And then by that, your conscious mind can then maybe, because basically your subconscious and your conscious have to align to the superconscious process. Meaning you allow in the universal flow, as they used to say in the older age, that you're allowing the universal flow to take fully over and flow through you freely like the river. And this is why I talk a lot about the element of water and how it is very important to understand it, because this is also a feminine aspect. And so this empowers this energy that I talk of, that 13th tribe. It has a lot to do with water, because the sky is water too, you guys. And so the Aquarian age, and this is why we have to expand, and that's why the man, the symbology for the Aquarian age is the man with water, water bearer. So anyway, let me have some tea, you guys. Okay. Oh my God, 38 minutes. Oh. Okay, how's everybody doing today? You guys, oh my God, you're looking awesome on there. Hi, Diane. Heck, hi, Bobsy. Tinfoil, Juliet, hi. Ankovich, hi. Tinfoil, Amy. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Any questions, you guys? Any questions about the quickening and what it is all about? Oh, Diane, you sick? Okay, understand that. That's also too with the super conscious, and especially for you guys, that some of you that did your personal healing rituals and all the things like that. So see what shows up, okay? And a lot of things, the tribal things will be showing up, and ancestral, as I talk about. So ancestral stuff is going to be huge right now in our auras. Because what happened is it's our ancestral wisdom that got twisted and all of that stuff. And this is why I kind of, and through the quickening, it's kind of what we're doing is like, those of you that know biology, When a genetically modified seed then organically goes back to its original structure, some seed take, a few seedings, some don't, and all of that stuff. But this is kind of the similar process. And you can also look at that this is a similar process to your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is going to be reprogrammed, because this is basically why you do the ritual, is you anchor in that. So you through your so then your subconscious mind restructures, and so your subconscious mind has to restructure, and that's the path of healing. And so when it restructures, there's things that are shifting and all of that stuff. And I say that when you do that, I do recommend cannabis during that time too, because it will help your endocannabinoid system in the body. It's more spiritual than, it's more etheric than, so that's your connection to your, so it's more etheric, and it works through all the organs that do the cleaning. So, and it includes the organs that do the cleaning process for the body. So those of you that do the personal healing right now, and we're going through it. I'm going through it apparently too. Oh, tinfoil hatter, what happened to the summer? It's gone. It's so cold here. This is why I'm drinking tea. Oh my God, I miss my palm trees. So I hope you guys, this is kind of helpful in understanding what we're going through. And then on the collective level, it's the same thing is going to happen. There's a lot of this weird stuff that we'll have to kind of, we will start seeing things, and we'll have to get a lot of our collective belief systems or belief structures already falling apart. I'm talking about collective, right? On the bigger scale, is some of that the group stuff. We're seeing how it's all breaking into pieces, and so, but it doesn't mean that that's all just have to be all woo and all need to be like, imploded or something. No, it's just it can restructure, and things can, like communities that and all of that. But it's gonna take some time, because the minds have to restructure too, and start thinking a little bit differently. We have to allow ourselves to start think for ourselves, and this is what I think that shamanic work, why it's so important to do it for yourself, is because then you become like an example for other people. You just there present with your energy. And then some people, it's like you're experiencing the gift, and the gift of healing yourself and vibrating on that harmonized creation here in this reality. It takes a lot of strength to do that, but at the same time it's very powerful for the whole of collective. And that's why it's so important. And that's why, like, people say, be the change that you want to see in the world, right? This is why the people in the past, teachers, spiritual teachers, talk of things like that. Christina, question: how do we activate our blood codes? This is what I talk about. The blood codes, it's mostly it is start digging through your ancestral lines and see what shows up, and that what would be the trigger for for your ancestral connection, because you gotta find your, and especially through the mother line. So go mother, mother, grandmother, okay? And so when you know sort of like the and the traditions and all of that, so I say that always follow your own blood in that. And then what you do is you do a ritual. You basically do a ritual that you come up with on your own to find that out. And then you create this own sort of field within yourself of that. You ignite your own fire, because you have to ignite your fire. And a lot of people do go to see a shaman or see someone who can get them there deep, so they can, you know, you can, absolutely can. It just depends on purposes. And like I said last time, I was talking about some of these teachings out there and how they got twisted. And the reason that they got twisted is because, first of all, because greed takes over and people want repeat customers. So they tell you, oh, if you do something wrong, you're going to be possessed. So you can come back when you do something wrong, because you set yourself up for failure just right there and then, right? So they basically set you up for failure so you can keep coming back and coming back. But that's the parasite's MO. It's always is. But when you look for your ancestral codes to activate, a lot of times, and it happens in the dream time sometimes. So don't get freaked out if you get thrown into some kind of past life, being in some kind of tribe or something. But look around for like spiritual signs and things like that. And so a lot of those symbols that actual shaman use, like you've seen Siberian shamans use that original alphabet a lot. It's the original North alphabet. That's all it is. It's just sound marks. That's all they use. So, but a lot of people put other things behind those symbols, but that's basically the original alphabet there up north. But anyway, what they use that is the sound, because the sound's very important. It's the vibration, right? So the sound's very important, like it says in that thing. And that's why, you know, the drumming and all of that stuff, that's like I do a lot of, like, before all of my, I mean, almost on a daily basis, I will have some shamanic drums or something like that playing, or things like that, because the vibration is very important. And so I posted about the bells in Russia and all the churches and all of that stuff, with bells, and what bells really meant. They were in churches actually, but those churches weren't churches. As you can see, they were just like there were the Sophia's monasteries. That's what they call Sophia monasteries. That's what at the center of each thing that was in old Russia. That's how it was. And so that was the first, and the bell was, and it's very important because of the vibration and all the things and what the bell represents. And it has a huge effect in the spiritual world, because this is all vibrations. Okay. And so this is why a lot of times you guys see, like in a lot of times, why hypnosis works so much is because there's vibrations and things that are hidden behind that. But what true natural sounds do, and this is like there is a, it's to clear the area from the spirits, the discarnate spirits. That was a big big reason why they took them down, because they needed people to be, under this oppressive spirit. It's like a layer of dread that just goes over people's mind. It's like a death dread. It is such a horrible energy, you guys. um, Such a horrible energy. Anyway, so 50 minutes. All right. Anastasia. Oh yeah, those books are great. But I mean, there again, it's just that's Siberian shamanism right there. It's just all has to do with nature. So it's really, you can become possessed using drugs. I bought from Bob. Thanks. Yep, absolutely. And in fact, I've talked in my past journals about actually a lot of people out there in alternative media operating on this medicine, especially the MK Ultra spiritual community. And they're pushing it openly there, this kind of medicine. And and then you can take a look at what they're doing with the veterans and PTSD and all of those drugs and all of that. It's that rabbit hole. Oof. And yeah, it is all part of that work. It is. Pharma is. And that's the hard truth that many people will be having a hard time um, figuring that out, how it operates. But they did a lot of experiments in Gulag on that with that. Oh, Emmy, you said you talk about your family and how you found that it was Buddhist and Himalayan. Yeah, it was interesting. When I was 13, I had no idea what was going on, and I had this thing, and then I this lady, this gypsy, like Indian gypsy, like brown skin gypsy, dark hair, um, shows up in all of that thing. So like, and this is when um she took me actually and showed me some future things of my life, and this is actually played a huge like role for me later, only later. But on that time, I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, who is this lady? Why did she do that? And this happened when I was about 13. And then in 2012, I go back to Ukraine and I go to my mom's sister, who was like my second mom. I loved her. And such an amazing lady. And so I go, and she is she's now she, like, when they're old, they just say everything. And so by talking with her, and I had a lot of, like, I know her since I was a little baby, been around her a lot, so she's like my second mother. So we're talking and talking, and she's all explained, and all of a sudden comes out that our great grandmother was a full-on gypsy, and she had a picture of her. And she brings out the picture. And it's that lady that I saw at 13. So it was my grandmother. So it's not like, but so that was for me. And this is how, so for me in 2012, this is when I went, oh, whoa. And the reason they had to hide that is because it was gypsies considered Aryans, and so they've killed all Aryans. You know how many gypsies they've killed? There's more probably than anybody in Ukraine, and during World War II, the Holocaust of gypsies. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. So Thank you, Seeker of Truth. Thank you. You're going to watch this later. Thanks. Thanks for being here and thanks for commenting. Russian people, the Earth Aryans. Well, if you look, that's the Hyperborean. It's that little peninsula over there that looks like a fetus type of peninsula thing. This is where they said that that's where the that's the land of the original people. So that's the original, like a first land, I guess, that came from the north. um, and so Mary Magdalene, I think she had green eyes, from what I heard. So, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, what was oh, the so then that's where it goes, that the Russia is the motherland, because that's the mother. It's like that. It looks like a fetus, a baby, um, and so that's what's happening with that whole thing. That's where it actually originates. And this is by the way where my I don't know, I go back to that area. This is where my dad's family is from, but I'm talking about, I don't know, 1,000 years history. So it was like 1,000 years ago or something. Yeah, the Scots with green eyes, that's one of those. But the Hyperborean races, there's, I think, seven. So those are seven white different races. So some of the, so like Scottish with the green eyes, and then you have also Syrian all the way in the east with the green eyes. Those were different people. And then so I think it's seven, but I don't know their names or anything. It really is such a, I mean, it's the original blueprint for humanity, but I mean, it still stands. It's just been so so twist and tweaked and all of that stuff and all of those things, but it's all part of the process, I think, and we're going to come to the point to where we're going to realize that really is we're sort of, we're unique, and everyone is unique, and everyone's beautiful in their own way. There is no, like, because there's been so much about this different races, and I don't want to go that route, because there isn't really like, this is just the skin color and things like that. People get so stuck on that. It's about us, pulling that original wisdom that we had. And like the thing that I always talk about, even look at the history that we have, even look at what we still have, the pyramids that are still standing, or the, all this other great historical things that we have around the world. Even look at some of the buildings that were built in 1600s and things like that. It's just the beauty that is still standing, and it's timeless, and it's a testament to humanity, to me, to the greatness of our origins and who we are. We are human beings, and so, and look at our past. There is a history that tell us we are great people. So we need to find that within us, and that's what I think this whole process is all about, is finding that beauty of the universe within us. sheepskin signed 16,500 years ago. I don't know. And whoever signs on the sheepskin and they think that it's going to hold up, it's probably not going to work. It just really isn't. Because what I'm saying is that all of those things passed and from the linear time, if it doesn't, if it's not present in here in the now moment, it's only that if that past allows you to clarify where you're going into the future, and if you can use that and then put it together to where you are then that living eternal energy that you are, a creator being in human form, because that's ultimately who human beings are. And so you guys, I'm gonna finish on that, because that's who we are. And this is why I'm talking about this, that we need to return to our roots. And so when we talk about this, it's just that humanity is, we need to find our humanity, and we need to stand strong, and we need to be who we truly are, the spiritual beings, the creator beings in human form. And that's what it's all about. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Until next time, stay wild, everyone. And I'll drink some tea to all of you. Bye. Caesar?